Hi guys, I want to just pop on here real quick today. I kind of have my phone in an awkward position, but I need my hands to show you guys something, so this is what I have to do for right now. But I just wanted to pop on here real quick and talk to you guys about something that's just been on my heart all morning today. For those that go to our church, you know that my husband's been doing a series on Sunday nights a few weeks back on fireproofing your marriage. And so marriage is just something that's just really been on our hearts, my husband and I. And so I was just thinking this morning about it, and I've seen it on like Facebook and YouTube before, so I'm probably not the first place that you'll see this, but I just want to go over it with you guys and just show you guys something. And what it is we wear our wedding ring on this finger, right? On our fourth finger. And so if you take your hands, and like I said, I've seen this before, so you guys have probably seen it, but let's just go over it together. If you want to do it with me, take your hands, you take these fingers right there, and you kind of fold them in there. So now we have this, okay? If you take your thumbs, you can separate them, okay? You can take them apart. And what that is supposed to represent is our parents, our relationship with our parents, our moms and our dads. You can see that they can separate. And that is because we are not to be with our mom and our dads forever. We are to grow up and separate, leave and cleave, right? We're supposed to leave and cleave and get married and have children of our own, if that's what the Lord's will is, have our own ministry, have our own life. That is what we are supposed to do. One day when we get older, we are supposed to leave and cleave. And so these fingers can separate. And then you got these fingers. These fingers represent our siblings. So we've got brothers and sisters, and it can represent other things. If you're not, if you don't have brothers and sisters, it can represent grandparents, great-grandparents, aunt, uncles, whatever, cousins, whatever you may be close with, maybe even a best friend. But this finger right here, it separates. And that is because we're not always supposed to be with them. We're not always supposed to be with our siblings or our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents. This can separate, right? And then we got down here, the pinky fingers, these separate. If you're doing this with me, you can see that your fingers can come apart. This right here represents our children, okay? So our children, they're not always to be with us, right? They are supposed to be with us for a season, but then they get older. They get 18, 19 years old, whatever, and they leave and they cleave. They get married on their own. They get their own jobs. They get their own kids. They get their own career. They leave and they cleave and they separate. But this finger right here, where we're married, this is our spouse. If you try to separate that, if you're doing this with me, you cannot separate those fingers. I can do all these other fingers, but I cannot separate those two fingers. And that is because we are not to be separated from our spouse. We are to be with them and be committed to them. And that is our husband, our wife. We are to be committed to them and to be faithful to them. And I just want to pop on here and just talk to you guys for a minute, because a lot of times there's not peace in our home. There's division and there's chaos and there's fighting and there's strife. And it's like, what is going on? What is the problem? And a lot of times it's because, like my husband just talked about at church, about fireproofing your marriage, is because we're not prioritizing right. We're putting things that aren't meant to be before our spouse. We're putting that before our spouse. Maybe it's our career, our job. A lot of times people will put the job and the career before their spouse. And I'm here to tell you guys today that that's not right. That's when you're going to start to get issues in your marriage, because that's not how it's supposed to be. Yes, we are to work, and we've got to work, and we've got to make money. I totally understand that. But that is not to come before your spouse. Maybe you're putting the kids before your spouse. And I'm not on here just preaching to you guys today. I myself have had to learn this, and I'm still learning this, because there has been times where I've even put the kids before my husband. Well, I have to do this with them. I've got to do that with them. I've got to homeschool them. I've got to take care of them in this. And yes, all of that is true. We need to take care of our kids, especially if they're under 18. They are our responsibility, and we should be investing into our kids. But we have to make sure our priorities are right. That is not to come before our spouse. Because let me tell you what a lot of times people do. They put those kids that are meant to be with them for a season. How many of you know our children are not meant to be ours forever? They are God's children. You know, you do a baby dedication. You dedicate that child unto the Lord, not to us, not our will for their lives, His will. So a lot of times we're in our minds, these kids are ours forever and ever. And even when they're 19, 20, 21, 22, we're trying to make decisions for them. We're trying to tell them what to do when they're not ours, they're His. We dedicate them to the Lord. They're His child, not our child, forever. So in those 18 years, yes, we are to be loving them, investing in them, teaching them to seek ye first the kingdom, teaching them how to drive, teaching them how to get a job one day, teaching them how to pay their tithe. We're supposed to be teaching them those things, but the goal should be for those children to live one day without us. Without us. They're not meant to be ours forever. We need to be taking those 18 years and teaching those kids how to live without us one day, how to leave and cleave, how to one day get married and get their own ministry and their own jobs and their own careers. But a lot of times we don't do that. We put those kids before even our own marriages. So what a lot of time happens, a lot of times what happens is because those 18 years we invested so much into our kids and not into our spouse. Our spouse gets on the back burner and our kids get priority. But let me tell you what happens. When those kids get 18, 19, they're going to leave and cleave most of the time. I want to get my own job. I want to get married. I want to get my own career. I want to have my own children. And then they're out of the house and we're sitting in the living room looking at this spouse that we've neglected that marriage for so many years that now we feel more like roommates than we even do husband and wife. And the joy is gone. The happiness is gone. The laughing and joking with each other, the hugs, the kisses, the intimacy is gone because we've neglected that marriage, putting our kids first for so many years. Okay? I hope this is helping somebody today. Your relationship with your grandparents, your aunts and uncles, your mother, your father, your job, your career, all of those things, they came apart, right? But that spouse is not to come apart. You guys are one. The two shall become one. So all these other things, it's not that it's bad to have kids, and it's not that it's bad to have a job, not that it's bad to have a good relationship with your parents. None of those things are wrong. But you got to prioritize. We have to prioritize. I have to prioritize. And I just really hope that this helps somebody today. If your home is chaotic, if your home is not peaceful, if you feel like you and your spouse are just butting heads and fighting all the time, fix it. Fix it. Don't sit there and just say, well, this is just the way it is. Nothing that can be done. There is something that can be done. There is something that can be done. Fix it. You guys get alone together. Go for a drive. Have dinner together, get alone, and say, how do we fix this? Just some good advice. Write down what is stressing you out. Have your wife write down what's stressing her out, right? Have your husband write down what is stressing him out. You guys write it down on a piece of paper together. And when you're alone and in private and nobody else around, you guys look at that list together and go, what is it that is causing us to butt heads? What is causing our stress? What is causing our division? How do you feel? Talk to each other. Let each other know, this is how I feel. I feel that you're putting that job before me. I feel that you're putting your mama before me. I feel that you're putting the kids before me. Fix it. Fix it. Your children are important. They are important. Those 18 years are important. But you got to prioritize, because they're not to come before your spouse. You have those kids for a season, and then they are to get older and get married. And while you have, I'm kind of repeating myself, but while you have those kids, put God first, your spouse, and then invest into your kids. Teach them how to live life without you one day. Teach them how to get their driver's license, how to mow the grass, how to change the oil in the car, how to change a flat tire, how to write a check. Teach your children those things, because you're not always going to be there. And we shouldn't be so selfish that we are trying to keep our kids 10, 11, 12 years old for the rest of their life, because that's selfish. Because one day, guess what? We're going to be gone. And we should want our kids to be happy. We should want them to be married with their own kids, living their life just like we're doing, just like we did. We got married, got a job, got vehicles, got a house. Guess what? We should want that same thing for our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids, right? So make sure you're prioritizing right. Make sure you're having those date nights. You go to New Hope Church, you know what I'm talking about. Make sure you're having those date nights. Put your kids to bed. You got little kids. If you've got teenagers and they're all, older, then you don't really know, you're past that stage. But if you've got younger ones, elementary kids, middle school kids, put them to bed at a certain time. They shouldn't be up 1, 2 o'clock in the morning doing whatever they want. Put them to bed at a certain time. All electronics come into the master bedroom. You kids go to bed. You and your husband spend time together. Watch TV together. Watch Netflix. Make popcorn. Talk. You having a stressful day? Put the kids to bed. Now this is your guys' time to talk. What's been bothering you today? What's been stressing you out today? Okay? Make sure you're laughing together, having fun together, intimacy with each other. It's important, guys. It's important. Okay? Hope this helps you. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.